Hans, welcome in from Advancing American Freedom this morning, senior legal fellow. And my friend, I was off Friday for Juneteenth, so it's my first day back since the last round of Supreme Court decisions dropped. And my perception is the big one was the gun case, right, about marijuana.
Yeah, it was, but none of the other really big cases came out. I mean, everybody was expecting even more big cases, but they released 3 decisions. I mean, the other 2 are important, but the big one was the marijuana gun case. So they've scheduled 2 days this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Thursday. They've said we're going to release more opinions. So I have a hard time believing that we're not going to get some of the really big cases like birthright citizenship, like biological men and women's sports. It's hard to believe that they won't come out.
So, Hans, explain what the decision was when it came to marijuana use. A guy sued because, you guys, listen, I've never been convicted of a hard felony, but I was convicted, I think, of marijuana use or possession, and then he was not allowed to have a gun. And he said that violated his Second Amendment rights.
Well, he wasn't even convicted of any kind of marijuana possession. Basically, federal law says that if you're a felon, you can't own a gun. And it also has this phrasing saying, if you're a habitual user of unlawful drugs. And he admitted simply that he occasionally smoked marijuana. He was not a drug addict like Hunter Biden. Everybody's comparing this to Hunter Biden. And what the court said is, look, being an occasional marijuana user is like at the founding being a user of alcohol. You know, it doesn't make you an addict. There's no evidence that it somehow made him dangerous, changed his character, and so they couldn't apply it. They couldn't apply this statute to him. You know when the government lost the case, Mark, is when Amy Coney Barrett said, if I occasionally used an Ambien to go to sleep by using my husband's prescription for it, would I be violating this law? And the government said yes. And they clearly thought that's just too extreme.
So Hans, did they define then what's occasional use? Because that seems to be the kind of the gray area where the courts will have to sort that out case by case.
You know, I think they're going to have to do it case by case. But like I said, look, there's an easy contrast between this guy who occasionally smoked marijuana and Hunter Biden, who, as you know, admitted that he was using cocaine every 20 minutes. He was clearly addicted. Plus, they got him for actually lying on his application for a gun, which is a little bit different than what this situation was.
Yeah, I hate to keep asking about the same case, but on the Form 4473, it specifically asks that question, if you're a user of illicit drugs. So I guess most people would now look at that and say, well, if I only smoke it occasionally, I'm not lying if I answer no to that.
No, that's exactly right. I think that's the way it's going to be classified. And look, it was an interesting case. It was 9-0. All of the justices agreed.
Wow.
So did you say Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Because Thursday is normally the big drop day. But did you say that this week could be packed as far as the cases being rolled out, or do you think, Hans, that they could extend it?
Well, it's only 2 days this week, Tuesday and Thursday. And, I guess they could expand it to next week. But, there's so many celebrations going on for the 250th anniversary. I don't know what they're going to do about next week.
Yeah, I wondered about that, too. I mean, I remember when the Roe Wade decision, when they overturned that, at the very last day of the session, I think is when that happened. Right. It would almost lead you to believe they have another. Is it wrong for me to speculate that there's one more really big case that they may be about to make a landmark decision on, and they want to save that for the last day, like maybe birthright citizenship?
oh, look, there's more than one big case. Not just, I mean, birthright citizenship is probably one of the biggest, but there are several others that are also very big, very, very important. So they may come out next week right before everybody leaves Washington for July 4th.
Hans, we've been talking a lot about the reflecting pool and how you have some self-described pro-algae people who are intentionally trying to screw with it because they don't like Trump, right? And they want to make it difficult. I mean, they obviously could be facing some. Would it just be like a vandalism charge, or do you think that they could potentially get them on more?
Oh, if they engage in any kind of damage to the property, they can get them. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize this. At the very same time that these protests are going on today, in favor of algae, at about 10:30 this morning, the French Air Force's aerobatic team is doing a flyover right over the mall, right over where these protesters are going to be to celebrate the 250th anniversary.
Yeah, it's as important as things are in the world right now, different things going on. This is what the left is celebrating, is the fact that the reflecting pool turned green. It's unbelievable. You know, Hans, I saw where you tweeted this out last week, but there was a decision by the Montana Supreme Court. Are they also like Corrine Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court justice? Can they not tell what a woman is?
No, that's exactly right. They said that a state law that says you have to list your actual biological sex on your birth certificate and your driver's license was somehow discriminatory. I'll tell you, they may be the worst state Supreme Court in the entire country.
In Montana, of all places. I mean, I don't know why, but I think of that as a hotbed of conservatism up there.
Well, you would think so, but no, that's not reflective of their state Supreme Court. Like I said, they are known for being one of the worst courts in the country.
I just don't get it, because you have some of these states that are allowing you to change your driver's license to reflect whatever gender you feel like that day, essentially.
Right, and in fact, what the two dissenting judges said is what that decision, by allowing that, is that you're telling a state they have to issue false legal documents, because that's what you're doing.
It is a great point. Hans von Spakovsky with Advancing American Freedom. We appreciate your time, my friend. Have a great week.
Well, you have a good golf day today.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.